The Odyssey is finally in theaters this weekend, and you might be wondering to yourself, why is everyone making such a big deal about it being filmed in 70 millimeter IMAX for the first time? It's the first motion picture shot entirely on IMAX films. Now, in order to understand why that's a big deal, we have to understand Christopher Nolan's relationship with IMAX. He has wanted to shoot a film in complete IMAX since he was a kid. I imagine that probably goes back to Expo 67, which is the original time in Canada where the first time IMAX kind of comes on the scene. But the first time that IMAX shows up in a major motion picture is in 2008. By whom? Christopher Nolan. The Dark Knight had 28 minutes of IMAX film in it. His next film, The Dark Knight Rises, 70 minutes. Interstellar had an hour. Dunkirk had 79 minutes. Tenet had 76 minutes. And then Oppenheimer in 2023 only had 40 minutes. The reason there was only 40 minutes of IMAX footage inside of Oppenheimer is problem number one when you're shooting with IMAX. They are incredibly loud, so shooting dialogue or two people talking becomes really impossible unless you adapt the camera. So for this film, they adapted the camera. They made sort of a igloo cooler that they put around the IMAX film so it was much quieter and they could shoot dialogue with that film. Which brings us to problem number two. Chris and Hoyte then had a 300-pound camera that they had to lug around to all of these locations, up on mountains, put on a helicopter, put in a boat, and shoot with a 300-pound camera. So imagine carrying a full-size bottlenose dolphin everywhere you went in order to make a film, and you understand what they went through to just carry this camera that would allow them to capture dialogue for the Odyssey. The next problem is when you're shooting with IMAX, you only have about 2.5 or 3 minutes of film before you have to change the cartridge, which means for a 3-hour film, you have a lot of changing of cartridges, which leads you to the other thing that you have to solve for, which is there is only one lab in the world that can make this film. It's Photochem in California. They are the only one that could put together IMAX film like this anymore. One in existence, which is why this becomes such a technically special project. Because one of the processes in Photochem is when you're editing an IMAX film on film is that you actually have to sacrifice some of the film to put it together. So there's a little bit of the sacrifice to the film god. There's a lot of self-referential stuff inside the Odyssey happening to make the Odyssey. But that is why you hear people so excited about this film, because of the technical way in which it was created. And what you will see on the screen is a very special film. Hope that helps.